So take it away, Lude. We can kind of check out what progress we've made. I think for the most part, a lot of the people in the US have probably been so busy with irrigation scheduling, they may not have kept up with the changes that have taken place over the last 4, 5, or 6 months. So um, it'll be all pretty new to the majority of us.
Okay, cool. So I'll give it a start, I guess.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Lud. Thanks for attending this webinar. I work for CropX in the European office. And I used to work on a real farm, like almost like 20 years ago. It was a farm of my uncle, an arable farm. But over time, I got more interested in digital farming. So that's how I ended up eventually within CropX. I became part of CropX, acquisition of Dacom Farm Intelligence. And one of the things of our technology stack were machine data capabilities, which we have been and are still integrating into CropX. And today I hope to show you some the first things we have integrated. And the basics, and tonight I want to start with those basics, which is all about managing machine data and viewing it. I think, Nick, also, like you said, I think it's the end of the season, so harvest is about to start. So it's a great time in the season to also for generating yield maps. And I think what I heard that somewhere in the next coming weeks, there will be another webinar or event for dealers about how to run a good end of season call with your growers. And I think working with yield maps can be a new and good touch point for you with your growers. So I hope that this will also be a little bit of an inspiration for that purpose. Today, I also hope to tell you a little bit about the why, like what can machine data bring to you? But I also hope to make it real practical, just to show the button clicks and how it works. Before I start presenting, the machine data inbox that I will just show is already live for a few weeks, maybe months. So I'm curious if there are already some people in the USA working with machine data into CropX. If so, maybe please send something in the chat so we know who has some first experiences with machine data, and I'm happy to hear about those experiences. Let's first share my screen. Yes, share. Do you see now my browser with CropX, Nick?
Got
yes.
it. Thank you.
Cool. So machine data. Yeah, well, what are the top reasons to bring in your machine data into CropX? First, it's really easy just to get your machine data into CropX. It's very nice to have all your machine data into one system, in your farm management system. So this capability is now available. And the good thing is that CropX is really structuring your data and also mapping it to all your CropX fields. So here in the top right menu, in the hamburger menu, you get this new menu item called machine data. This is the machine data inbox. So this is the place where you can manually upload all your machine data. I have to say this is a web-only feature. Of course, there's no need to upload machine data with a flash drive, or how do you call it, like a USB stick into your mobile. That doesn't work. So this is a web-only feature. And another thing to mention here is that the owner, like the uploader of the machine data, is only now available to view it. So if you have like a dealer-grower relationship, please be aware that the one who's uploading the data on his account, only on that account, the machine data is visible at the moment. And that's something we still need to work on. But it's a great inbox, I can tell you. We've been developing this already for a couple of years. So we support like the most common data formats in ag. So it's like all the ISO XML formats like John Deere, files, from soil scans to drone images. You can name it. I think we support most of it. If you will upload a file that we don't support, please send us a message and we will try to do to support your file formats. How does this page works? So here at the left side, you will see like a list of all your uploaded data sets. And here at the right side, of course, you see a map. And here at the top bar right, you see a green button saying new, and you can choose here to upload machine data. Then you can just go to your computer, take a file. Let's see, maybe this one, but I probably have already uploaded this one before. And you can just like drag and drop your file into this inbox. Here below, you will get some messaging, whether your upload was successful or it failed for some reason. And in this case, I know that I already uploaded this file before, so that's why I got this message. Anyways, when you're uploading files, and you can do it like one by one, but you can also like drag a bunch of files into this inbox, it will be processed and be shown here at the left side. What can you see? Well, each card is a data set with the name of the data set. Of course, it has a date on which it is created. We automatically map it to one of your operations, like an activity. So in this case, it's an harvest data set. And you will also see that this data set includes 12 measurements. So if you scroll down, we have like some customers with really advanced equipment, and sometimes they get up to like, here, this one has already like it's like one pass with your tractor and it already collects 42 measurements. So there's a lot of data being collected here. You can also see whether your data set is overlapping your fields. So here you'll see, yes, this data set is connected to one field, and actually here you will see that it is linked to the field close to home. If you scroll down, you will see here like a number 0, and you will see that this data set has no link or overlap with your field. Doesn't matter, you can still look at it. Just by clicking on it, you will see those 12 measurements. You will see the measurement itself, sometimes from which machine it's collected, and the unit. So in this case, this is a yield map. And here on the map, you can now show, you see this yield map. Here's a small legend where you can see what those values mean on the map. And you also have an option to change transparency by a little slider. So you can play with this a little bit. I do need to say that you will see here some technical terminology. ISO codes, we're still translating those. So that's something we will fix soon. But already on the unit, I know this is like the yield, the one that's about yield. So this is an example of a yield map. Let's have some. So you can upload like any machine data. It's another example is our soil maps. So we support, for example, DuaLam or a Freer scan, which I think is also well known in the USA, or an EM38, for example. And when you click on it, you will just see here, for example, the electroconductivity at 50 centimeters height. Another one, for example, which is a more Dutch soil analysis, which shows about like 48 different soil parameters. For example, organic matter content. And you can just browse through this data. So other types of data are as applied. So, for example, a seeding map from deer, or in this case, this is an file when I was plowing my field. So interesting for that is sometimes to see the fuel consumption. So this is the fuel consumption during plowing. And interesting to see here, if you look at the how do you call it, legend, you will see that like fuel consumption, for example, in this part of the field is a bit higher. And later on, I will tell you how you can analyze this data in a more advanced way by stacking it with different comparing it with other types of data. What else? Maybe good to show is also a drone image, because with the drone image you can really see how we map your data set to a field. So this is a drone image that I've been uploading. And of course, this drone is capturing a larger area than only this field. So here you will see like a small menu connected to each data set that says, in this case, show original data set. And now I will just get the same image, but showing the original. So this is the original file that I've been uploading. And here you will see how we have mapped it to your field. And that is important if you want to work with statistics, or in the near future, we will also automatically generate like records out of those as applied data. And then it's important to work with the mapped area. What else? You can delete your files from here. So you can just say like, I want to delete this drone image, and you can delete it and upload it again. You can show the original. Somewhere in the near coming weeks, we will add here some more options, like the option to, if you don't have a field like this one, we can, for example, automatically generate a field based on the boundary of your points of the data set. And I think another one will be that we will make like a fast link to the field. I think this is mainly it about the machine data inbox. Of course, this is a manual upload. On our roadmap, there are a lot of partner connections we want to add. In that way, you can automatically upload your data. But that's something we want to add on the short term. But it is on our roadmap. So this is all about managing your machine data. Next topic that I want to talk about is more about viewing and analyzing your data. And I want to bring in some different use cases or examples. First one is yield analysis. I think this is a great time to start generating yield maps and uploading them. And actually, looking at yield maps can help you really to identify areas that produce less or more yield. So how does it work? As I already told you, all your uploaded data sets will be mapped to your fields. So if you want to see like all kinds of agronomic data layers, you need to go to your field. So you just go to the fields page. In this case, I have a map view. We also have different kinds of views. We recently also added a table view, which is really nice if you have like a lot of fields. It's really helping to give you a good overview. But in this case, I want to go to a field in Nebraska, which is here, I think, close to Columbus. Yeah, it's this field. And then you can just go to this field detail page, how we call it. And I think this year we have added a new menu item called field data. And this is a whole new experience about how you can browse through all your agronomic spatial data layers. And I will, let's go through all those different layers one by one. First one is like showing your crop type. Not that much to say about it. It's really, yeah, you can see there's like corn on this field. When you browse down without clicking, you will go to crop code, and here you will see that like your biomass images will pop up in a nice timeline. So without clicking, I can already see over time like my in-field variation, and I can just click an image. And also within this graph, I can see how my crop progress changes during the season. Scrolling down a bit more, you will get like a soil type image. And here below, you will get a productivity map. This is a new type of map we've added last year. And actually what we do here is like we take your satellite imagery from the past 5 years and we stack them. For each calendar year, we take the 2 images that are on average have the highest, are on average the highest. So in the end, we have like 10 images over those last 5 years. And then we look for each pixel and we sum up those values. And then we stretch those between like 0 and 1, and then you will get this map. So what we do here with stacking like satellite images over multiple years is to take out those seasonal variations. And so you get a little bit better insight about which parts of the field perform better or worse over time. Interesting for this example, I looked it up because here and if you scroll down, you will see the machine data section. So here, same as with imagery, you will get a timeline. And for this field, I have 2 machine data files that are uploaded. One is this one, which is a soil scan, I think from an EM38 scanner. And here in the legend, you can choose your different measurements. So this soil scan has a measurement from the topsoil and from the subsoil, and you can here just view it on the map. This other file is a harvest file, so it's like a yield map. And there's different measurements from a moisture, but in this case, we're interested in yield. So this way, you can look up all your machine data and view it on a map. The nice thing in this new experience is that you can also compare different layers. So here in the legend, you will have a little lock icon. So now I can lock this icon and I can just scroll back to the image that I'm interested in to compare. So in this case, the productivity map. And as I told you before, there are here like some opacity sliders where you can play with the opacity of both layers in this case. So you just drag it to 100% and then you just, you can just slide. And here it's interesting to see that the yield map more or less like matches, well, I would say almost identically with the productivity map that is based on satellite imagery. So looking at yield maps, here you can really try to identify the areas that produce less or more and look up into all your data and trying to find the cause of why some areas are lagging behind. Okay, let's go to the next topic, which is about scouting. So we're talking about machine data and imagery in general. We've talked about yield analysis and how you can compare it with different agronomic layers and try to find the cause of why areas are lagging behind. If you talk about scouting, it's really helpful because we have added all those data layers also to the CropX mobile app. So in the meantime, I'm opening my mobile app. Yes, it's here. And for example, when you're like in a field and you're walking through the field, you're looking to your crop and you see like a specific area that is you know, it has a low, the crop looks bad, or you know, there's something going on. You can just walk through that place and then grab your mobile phone. You go to the same field. So in this case, it was the field far from home. This one. And exactly the same as on web, we have all the data available on mobile. In this case, you scroll from at the bottom, you will see like this indicator, and you can just like swipe through all the different data layers that are available. So we have seen this image just before on web. Here you see it on mobile, and you can just browse through the same types of data. Well, why is it good to bring all this data into the field? Because On the map here, we will also show the exact GPS location. So you can just walk through a specific point of interest, grab your phone, and maybe look into your soil scan to see why maybe, or to your in-season imagery, why certain, how do you say it? Crop is lagging behind. Something about mobile, there's here this drawer, there are 3 heights. There's this height, there's the middle one, and there's like, you can drag it down, so there's more area, it's more space to show the map. Here on mobile, there's also a timeline where you can just pick a different image, or you can click on see all, and then you can just browse through this timeline and you get small thumbnails, so you can really fast pick an image of your interest. And of course, for satellite imagery, we have different indexes. So there's like NDVI or a true color image. What else? Yeah, actually, I think it's mostly the same as for web, but then available on mobile with your GPS location on top of that. Now you won't see the GPS location because I'm sitting in my safe office here in the Netherlands and we're looking at the field in Nebraska. So that's why you don't see the blue marker that points your direction. So this is really helping when you're scouting in the field. Of course, so you sometimes also can scout like remote from the office, and especially when you have to manage a lot of fields. We also have some nice tools for that. So for that, I want to go back to CropX. You go to the fields page, and we just have looked at all the field data that's available for one field. But of course, if you have to manage many fields, you want to get better overviews. And that's where we have this fields overview page. And on this map view, we have added the option to show different map layers. So let's go to a field. And here already you see on the map the soil moisture status with the label also soil moisture status. So it's like a color-coded map which gives you insight about the soil moisture status. But here we have different options to choose from. And for example, I can now choose crop growth. And now you will get the latest satellite image for all your fields at once. So, and here within the labels, those labels become like context specific. So when you choose satellite, you will get like specific satellite layers you can choose from. For example, the date of the last image. The 2 labels that are very interesting are the average NDVI and the NDVI variability. It says like how homogeneous is your field or not. So for example, when you choose this, you will see like a number showing up on the map. And here at the left side, in the list of your fields, you will see the same number. The interesting thing from the list is that you can sort it. So you can just sort your fields now based on the NDVI variability. And when you then go through like larger values, you can directly go to the fields that have like a high variability. Or if you choose the average NDVI and you sort your fields and you go to fields with on average lower NDVI, those are maybe the fields that need attention. So in this case, we are trying to help you to manage your operations more efficiently. Another thing that is really helpful are the filters. Because of course, it's not very logical to compare like an NDVI image between potatoes and corn. So here you can also filter on your crop type and say like, okay, I have like, in this case, 13 fields with chicory. And I'm interested in the fields that are have the lowest NDVI in this case, which is this field. Well, this one is still growing perfectly, by the way, but just as an example. So this is another example how imagery capabilities can help you scout your fields. So we've been talking about managing machine data files. We've been talking about how you can view and analyze data. The last step is, of course, that you want to act on this. Like there's like a lot of variation within your fields, and you can act on that by applying variable rate application. We've added a first small baby step, I have to say, because within CropX, we now have a variable rate irrigation tool, the VRI tool. So let me go to this field far from home. I need to close the filter. This field, and under irrigation, we have this VRI tool. So here you have options to make a script and download the file, how you can adapt the application depth of your pivot in different sectors. Here, as you can see, we have now also added machine data as a background layer. So this is the first small step we have done. So it's not all those calculations here at the left side, they're not taking into account machine data yet. So this machine data is just shown as background layer. So what you can do here is change the opacity. And in this case, I'm looking at the soil scan, and maybe those three pizza slides, I don't know how you call them in the USA, but sectors maybe, they you can maybe, depending on the soil scan, you can say that you want, so those are the last three ones. You can say like, based on my soil scan, I want to change those to like low application depth, 30, 30, 30, and now you will see that those are all 30. So this is how you can also use machine data already for variable rate applications within CropX. With this, I also think I'm almost at the end of my my webinar. There's still a lot of great things that we're currently working on as we talk about machine data capabilities. The first thing that we are now working on is a more generic tool to create prescription files. So this is only about irrigation, but we're building a more generic tool so you can create all kinds of maps for variable rate seeding, spraying, nutrition. And that uses, and with that tool, you can use all the field data that I have just shown. Based on all this field data, you can generate like a management zone. And from this management zone, you can go through a VRA map where you can apply like an activity, a product strategy, and then just download the file to a file that you want to upload to your display in your tractor. Another thing that is on our roadmap are our partner connections. So that really helps to get more machine data in automatically. I think this is it for now. Yeah, I would say like good luck with the end of the season. But Nick, of course, yeah, I'm really interested if there are already CropX users that are using machine data. And I think we are also very willing to help you with any problems that may occur, or if you have any questions. So I would really like to invite you to just start uploading your machine data and get the most benefits out of this. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the update, Lude. And just to kind of second most of what you said, I mean, I think we have, you know, this is the foundation of where we're going with these types of features. And, you know, we recognize that like there's a lot of things that we need to add, but there's a lot of stuff here already that can already start helping you.
You know, the partner connections are a critical one. So many of the growers that you may be working with already, we know are already using things like the John Deere platform as well as FieldView. You know, that's an easy way for us to start with those partner connections to get that data just flowing in here instead of you having to do any sort of a drag and drop to upload. And I think it'll be really nice having those scripting tools to do, you know, those basic zone management off of whatever data layer you want to bring in. Is there any questions or anything? You know, and just some other examples of what I know my growers have utilized these types of features in other platforms for. I mean, it's been mainly seed prescriptions. I know is what they're using them for, and so some of the features I think that they're missing that they would really want are actually these the soil scans. They've never been able to see their soil scans or their soil test maps. You know, so if they're on a regular schedule for soil sampling, you know, when they process those results and seeing a map of whatever attribute they've tested for, you know, they can't really currently do those types of things in their platform. And I think, you know, we've already got the foundation in order to improve upon that and provide that type of extra analysis that they're looking for.
Yeah, maybe I see some questions in the chat, like, is this live now? Yes, this is live. So everything that I've been just showing is already live for a few weeks now. And I can also say that this whole technology stack is not live for a few weeks within CropX, but this technology stack is already available in like the European brand for a long time. So that's why this machine data inbox is really mature. I can say there's like many different file formats that we can upload. And again, if you experience like format that we don't support, please send it to support, and we will try to look with the development team whether we can make it work.
Yep. So most likely, if you are interacting with the data layer in some other platform, it should work already. And if it doesn't, then you can tell us. But like we had a question regarding NDVI maps and elevation maps developed from a UAV. Is that something you guys have worked with, Lud?
Well, I can, for example, show you like about elevation maps. Elevation maps, yeah, now it's really sad for the USA market, but I will show you some elevation map here in the Netherlands.
Probably a pretty even color.
Well, yeah, you think so, but even within a flat country, there's still a lot of elevation differences. Let me go to these fields. Because for some European countries, we have elevation maps available. Currently, not yet in the USA. So for example, this is a Dutch field. And here you can see in the Netherlands, for example, we already have like 4 elevation maps available from 1996 until 2 years ago. So you can also see a little bit of how the elevation is changing over the years. And if you're bringing in your elevation maps, well, this is still currently our like data sets we are like uploading as CropX. You have this ability also to show drainage lines. So you have this small toggle, and based on this elevation map, you can see like how the water drains flow through your field. Something that you can already currently do is uploading your machine data. Is most of the machine data task already include like the position. So I haven't prepared this, but let's see. This is like a machine data file from plowing. And here you will see like a position up. Yeah, this is great. So this is a field called Belgium. So let's go to this field, Belgium. So although we don't have those elevation maps yet available for the USA, like this is this one in the Netherlands, you can go to your machine data. Most of those machines already track like position up. So this is like my elevation map for my tractor. And when I stack this one, and I now go back to the elevation map, you will see that those are like the same, almost the same.
Yep. Yeah, I know a lot of, I think every harvest and planting pass, they'll be collecting elevation data as one of the layers.
And I know that like a wish is that you could like just show this ability to go from an elevation map to drainage lines. And of course, it would be really cool if you can upload your machine data files so you can have your own elevation maps and create those drainage lines on top of that. But that's a feature that we don't have yet. But I already have heard a lot of enthusiasm about elevation maps and drainage lines. And here I can see it again in the chat. Yeah, those drainage lines are very helpful for low spots. So yeah, we get that feedback a lot. So I think that this is elevation maps are a really helpful source for many farmers, because it's really a good representation of your field. I also saw something about drone images. I think the chat started with that. I heard him mention drone maps. Yes, you can upload drone maps. I have to say, I think it's about 5 years ago that we started adding then we started supporting drone images here in the Netherlands. I think it was like a hype at that moment. But still, I think nowadays drone images are mostly used in very expensive crops, like in orchards. So some farmers are using drone images for that purpose. Or you really need to go to advanced applications, like you can really do like the spot, like herbicides, like really spot on and only like kill the weeds. But that for an high precision, how do you say it? Prescription map, you also need like a high resolution input, and then you could use a drone image for that. Yeah, drone images are geotiffs, so that's like a TIFF file you need to upload. Okay.
I don't think I've got anything else. I really like looking at simply just the imagery within each field, especially from an irrigation management perspective, now that we're at the end of the season. And then honestly, I'd forgotten about looking at the imagery at the global scale, looking at the imagery within multiple fields at the same time. I should have been doing that this whole time. I was kind of looking at it as field by field basis.
Yeah, if we talk about precision ag, it's mostly about like how adapt on in-field variations. But precision ag is of course also about like if you have to manage a lot of fields, if you're like a large grower, it's really important. And if you have like short time to manage operations due to the weather and how in hot season, then it's really helpful if you can sort your fields according to what they need. And that's also precision ag in my opinion. Something else that I forgot to mention here on my notes is maybe interesting for the mobile app. If you upload any valuable source like a soil scan and you take it out in the field with your mobile app, with your GPS locator, it's also a great use case maybe to help to find the best spot to install your CropX sensor. We have a lot of customers here in Europe, like tulip growers, for example, and they also use those type of sources. Like you can just use an elevation map or a soil scan and try to find yeah, the best spot to install your CropX sensor. So that could another be, another example how you can use this information.
Hey, Lud, could you clarify a point you mentioned earlier about the permission structure and being able to upload to fields?
Yeah, sorry, the sun is shining here. I will sit a little bit to the left. Yes, I can. Currently, if you, let me go to the inbox. So when I'm uploading my machine data files to my account, like loot@cropr.com, and when I share, for example, my field with you, Nick, and you will go, if you will log in and go to my field, you won't be able to see the machine data. Only I, as an owner of the machine data, like I've uploaded my data, I will only be able to see the machine data on my fields currently. But that's something we need, which is really important, of course, if you have like a dealer-grower relationship, that the dealer is also able to help the grower with this, that he also can view this data. So it is on our radar and something we need to solve for.
Okay, thanks.
Are there soil sampling tools that attach directly to equipment and collect as you cover a field? I'm not aware of that. But maybe from some from sales guys can answer on that.
Yeah, that's kind of outside of CropX's wheelhouse, but I have seen dealers use equipment. I think there's some specialty attachments that you might be able to drum up from people that have attached them onto UTVs for soil sampling.
Yeah. What I hope is really that you are inspired by to start uploading your files, and we also really need your feedback to improve this whole machine data capabilities within CropX. So the only reason how we can improve it is to get your feedback, and for that you need to upload it and start using this. So that's my invitation for everyone in this webinar.
Sounds good. We'll be posting the recording and contact customer support if you have any other questions.